Hello there, I'm Richard Eisenbeis, and welcome to Big in Japan. Os Tatakae Ouendan and its sequel, Momero Naketsu Rhythm Daimashi Os Tatakae Ouendan 2, are the Japanese counterparts to the multi-award-winning game Elite Beat Agents. They're also the most imported titles in the DS's sizable library. And while of course Elite Beat Agents was a success in the West, its Japanese counterparts will almost certainly never cross the Pacific. Why? Well, for that we need to head over to the Japanese Culture Corner and discuss what Ouendan is and where the idea comes from. In the Japanese cultural consciousness, there is the idea of ki, that one can project his or her will in such a way as to add power to a physical action. In Japanese martial arts, the use of ki is accompanied by a scream or shout. It is not the scream itself that has any power. Rather, the scream is a byproduct of the release of one's own spiritual energy. The practice of using one's ki is not reserved for the martial arts, however. People ranging from taiko drummers to students use ki to some extent in their daily lives. Now, Ouendan, a combination of the word oen, meaning aid or support, and dan, meaning group, is the name for an all-male squad that uses their ki to help their sports teams achieve victory. While they're often called cheering squads or cheerleaders in the West, what they do is not about increasing morale as we think of cheerleading. Rather, it is about harnessing and directing their own ki, as well as that of the fans, to empower their team to victory. Os Tatakae Ouendan is the story of a local town's Ouendan who lend their ki to normal people whenever they need support in their day-to-day lives. Of course, in this town, one's day-to-day life could be anything from working hard to get that much-needed raise to combating an alien invasion. Ouendan 2 continues along in the same vein, except that now, a rival squad has appeared to try and outdo the original heroes. The story of each level is told via a series of animated manga cutscenes, which radiate the game's trademark humor. Each one is set to a piece of popular Japanese music. The player's job is to keep the shouts and dancing of the Ouendan in correct time with the music so as to empower the person in need. You do this by tapping, dragging, and spinning the prompts on the screen in the correct order. When you're partway into the song, your story cutscene will resume. If you're above par, then your cheering will have caused the character to overcome a challenge. If you're under par, they fail in an often humorous way. Then, when you reach the end of the song, you'll receive one of several endings to the story, depending on how many of the challenges you passed. Of course, if at any point your score is too low, the stage will end in failure, and you'll be forced to start the stage from the beginning. Of course, being a music game, the track list is just as important as the gameplay. The songs in Ouendan 1 and 2 are mostly top 10 hits from the late 90s to mid-2000s, and while they're usually covers of the original songs, you'll often be hard-pressed to be able to tell one from the other. The big problem in both Ouendan games is the difficulty. Players with even limited music game experience will be able to progress on normal, well, until the difficulty spikes at the midway point. Because the last few songs on easy are about as difficult as the songs midway through on normal, playing easy first is the only way to prepare for normal mode's later levels. The only other problem is the unskippable introductions in Ouendan 1. Every time you fail, you start the song over at the very beginning, so you will have to watch the intros over and over. The problem reaches its extreme in the final song Ready Steady Go, where you will have about a full minute after each time you fail while the intro music plays. To help you overcome this flaw, I've prepared a list of things you can do while waiting to play this game. Ready, steady, go! Let's get started, ready, steady, go! Pause! 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 So while both Ouendan games are not without their problems, the positives far outweigh any negatives. The story is quirky, the gameplay is tight, and the soundtrack is the best cross-section of popular Japanese music in any video game ever. In fact, if you have any interest in Japanese music or music games in general, I wholeheartedly recommend you import these games. Anyway, I'm Richard Eisenbeis for GameZone.com. Peace out.